Thanks for watching Retro Tech Toys. Today I've got a really cool project. This is an AST Advantage, which is a 25 megahertz 386SX. I haven't been able to get this thing working at all since I got it. I actually did a video on it several months back. It was just a really quick video when I had first gotten it, but the power supply didn't work. The battery was, of course, dead, and I haven't been able to find a power supply. I haven't even been able to test this thing to see if it works. But I'm going to take it apart and look at it today and see if there are any capacitors that need to be replaced. We're going to clean it up, and I've got a couple of ideas to get this thing to turn on without the power supply. So I'm ready to go if you're ready to go. So let's get started. So basically what we're doing is I'm taking this thing apart. I don't have the battery for it anymore. I've got a couple ideas. I've actually got everything unscrewed, so I'm going to go ahead and take everything apart so you can see exactly where everything is and what it does and all that good stuff. This is already taken off. Everything's just kind of screwed on, and it's really simple. You can see all the screws perfectly fine on the bottom of the case. The keyboard just has a couple of ribbon cables and it pops right off. The monitor cable has a ribbon cable right here, and it's got a couple of little things right here that you have to unplug. Be very careful. So I've already gotten the hard drive out of it. It's pretty simple too. It's just a couple of screws, and it honestly just comes right out. And followed by the main board here. And the main board has, its shielding and all that good stuff. We're going to set that to the side. Then we have to undo the disk drive. Let's go ahead and take this off because I want to examine this whole thing. And the reason why I've completely disassembled this 386 is because the power cable that I had for it didn't work, and I'm pretty sure the battery was dead as well. So, I ended up tossing that power supply. I don't think it could be fixed. I opened it up and it looked pretty rough inside. The good news is I took the battery out here. This is the battery for your clock and all that good stuff. I took that out, and it's not leaking at all. So we were really, really lucky. And this is the processor. This is just a card. It's got the CPU and it's got some other stuff on it. This is also just a couple of things that plug in. And as you can see, it looks really good. And one thing that I noticed, and I can promise you that before I did this video, I'd never taken this laptop apart. I'd never tried. So let's go ahead and pop this RAM out. I don't know if I have another chip that would fit in there, but we can always try. Looks like this is some Gold Star RAM. And this is the board. And I'm looking at some of the components here. The capacitors actually look amazing. And this was made in 1991 or 1992. Everything looks really good. Looks like we've got a pad over this chip. And nothing looks out of place. The board is extremely clean. This is a computer that I bought from a friend for $20. It had just been sitting for ages and not turned on, he said. And it seems to be in perfect order. Again, I keep getting lucky. I keep buying computers that people have taken really good care of, except for the Tandy 1000. If you saw that video, that thing was a mess. And I've had a couple others that were just huge messes. But here we've got the modem card. That also just kind of plugs in right over here. Let's flip everything over, and you're seeing this connection here. This is an 8-pin mini DIN connection, and I've seen wiring diagrams for it. I could probably whip something up if I tried. You see all these solder points here for it as well. I don't really want to do that. I want to wait until I get a working power supply for this, but I really want to turn this on and see if it works, and I can't. I can't get it to turn on. But I had an idea. So my idea is I have this new bench power supply, and we've got the battery connections over here. Now I'm pretty sure this is positive. I've got a little plus symbol over here, so that would indicate positive, which would make this one negative. And I'm guessing that these two have something to do. I think one is the inner battery. There's a fuse wired in, and I think one of those is for that. But I believe we can get in there and go from the bench power supply, go positive and negative. I know for a fact that this gets 5 volts DC. So 5 volts DC, 1 or 2 amps is fine. If you ever make your own power supply for this, of course it has to be a regulated power supply. But I think we can hook it up to my bench power supply, kick it up to 4.8 or 5 volts, and see if it turns on. That would be cool. I haven't tried this yet. So let's go ahead and I took this apart to clean it up, but it doesn't even look like it needs to be cleaned. So what I'm going to do is get this thing as reassembled as I can, uh, a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and try out that trick of mine and see if it does anything. And if it works, what we'll do then is we will hook up the hard drive and the disk drive, and I'll put the screen back on and all that good stuff. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and grab the screen, and I'm going to plug in the ribbon cable, and I'm going to plug in everything that goes with this, and I'm just going to try to power the board on. Okay, that's in, and I'm going to go ahead and prop it up a little bit here if I can. I've got to plug in a couple of things before this will work. You've got to plug in, this has got the power switch and the faders on it. So that has to be plugged in, of course. And last but not least, we're going to need the RAM, because I don't think it's going to turn on without that RAM. And we will need the CPU card, because without a CPU, we have nothing. So let's get these things plugged back in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook my bench power supply up. I've got the positive here, and I am sure that this is the positive. And then I've got the negative here. Okay. I'm going to hold the screen up so you can see. And I'm going to turn it on. Hopefully you can see down here. I've got it at 5 volts. And let's go ahead and flick the power switch on and see what happens. We've got a light. Oh, look at that. Look at it. It's on. Can you see that? We've got a little dead spot here in the screen. It's not totally dead. It's just a little faded. But I'm okay with that right now because I can source a screen replacement for this. But look, we have power. So it looks like, if you could see the power supply down here, it looks like we're operating on 5 volts and 1.2 amps. And that's pretty good, because my understanding is that this runs at 5 volts and 1 amp. But, you know, if it's kicking in a little bit extra, that's not bad. That's okay. And the thing works. I am so surprised. All right, let's get this thing turned back off, and I'm going to try to put it together. I'm going to hook the hard drive up, and we're going to see if this thing actually works. So let's kick off the power supply, and we're going to take everything apart again and try to get it back in its shell and at least mostly put together. I have been wanting to play with this for a long time, and I actually have a video that I did on it. I don't know if I still have it up on my channel. It was just a short 3-minute video. I did a video on this thing and about how excited I was to get it, but it didn't work, and I have not been able to find a power supply I've looked for almost a year. Cannot find one. I'm not going to do this battery yet. I may have to order another one, but I'll do a video where we wire this up, because all we've got to do is change out this battery and solder the points onto the new battery and plug it in, and it's good to go. But we don't really need it at this moment. I've got this plate on, and we're going to slip this in, and I've got to connect everything back up. I'm going to go ahead and get this started, and I'll be right back. Now that I've got this a little bit more put together, I'm going to start assembling some of the things that go inside. And by the way, this is a 60 megabyte hard drive from 1992. So if everybody's ready to see this working, let's check it out. Let's turn our power supply on. And let's turn on the computer. And of course, this is a temporary solution. We don't want to do this for too long. Yeah, we just got a battery warning, but that's okay. It's running so far. And like I said, this is temporary. This is just to test this out. If anybody knows where I can source a power supply for this, that would be awesome. And we've got an issue with the screen there. And that's okay. I see these non-working all the time on eBay. I can pick up one and swap the screen out. That's not a problem. All right, well, it looks like we booted into DOS. That's cool. So what all do we have? All right, we do have games, and we've got Windows too, but let's check out the games really fast. I believe this is Galaga. I don't know what else GAL would be. Haha, I was right. Look at that. Ooh, that screen is bad. I don't have a mouse hooked up, but we can kind of log into Windows. Look, it's AST Computer's version of Microsoft Windows 3.1. Copyright 1992. Of course, I can't do much because I don't have a mouse. That's it. I'm really excited about this. We got this thing working well, and I can't believe it. Like, it works. The hard drive works. It's got Windows 3.1 on it, and it does need a new screen, but I'm okay with that. I've got a tiny little VGA monitor that I can try on it later. I've actually got to go find a VGA cable, but we can do that later. Look at this little guy that I got today. I love this thing. I was playing with my C64 Mini on it because it has HDMI and VGA and AV, and it's a good little monitor. Well, I'm super excited that we were able to get this working, and I'm glad you guys came along for the journey. I'm so happy to be able to share this with you. I've got another video coming up on Wednesday, and we're going to start doing a Wednesday and Saturday video. And the Wednesday videos, I'm going to try to have just a little bit more fun, and on the Saturday videos, I'm going to try to be a little bit more serious. So, hope you enjoy all that. I really appreciate you. Make sure to check out our Twitter. Check out the official website at retrotechtoys.com. Thank you so much for watching Retro Tech Toys. I'll see you again on Wednesday.